Nate here from fitnessgroomcafe.com, and I'm here with Roy, who is the director at HF Industries, and we're been given a great opportunity to actually go through the Freemotion upright bike screen, which is the Ifit screen. And Roy, I'll let you take it away and just give me a little bit of an overview of the concept first.
Well, thanks, Nate. It's great to have an opportunity to talk with you about this. We're really excited about the innovation that's happening, particularly in the cardio aspect of the fitness market. And Ifit is just one of those innovations. Freemotion Fitness, a very large company out of the USA, has spent a significant amount of time and energy in creating this Ifit display. And really it's designed with the user in mind. So what you're looking at now is just the basic, what we call the attract mode. So as you can see, there's a large start button. If an individual doesn't want to delve deep into the technology and all of the options, all they've got to do is press start and away they go, and it functions just like any other electronic exercise
So just like, I guess, our traditional quick start mode, that just gets straight into a cycle.
That's exactly right.
You can adjust your load and
correct. So you can adjust time, distance, you can have goals of calories. It'll give you all your feedback of heart rate, speed, distance, time, and of course you can adjust all of the parameters manually as you go through it.
Great.
So, but really where this gets very interesting is of course with the Ifit capability. And the Ifit is a wireless interface, so that's another unique thing about this bike. It doesn't require hard wiring to the internet. It can be done wirelessly.
But it can be done the other way too.
It can. Via a Cat5 cable, you can attach it to the internet as well.
Fantastic.
If you don't have the modem capacity. But what we offer users is just a level of engagement that's really unsurpassed, and primarily driven by the concept of Google Maps. So what we know is that when we're in the health club, we're limited to working out on the screen in the gym that we're at. What Ifit enables users to do is basically ride, run, stride, or climb anywhere in the world.
Wow.
So for example, if I was sitting at my office at work and I knew I was going to come to the club tonight and I wanted to go for a ride, let's say I'm going on holidays in New York City and I wanted to go for a ride around Times Square, I could pull up my Ifit account, create a map, draw my course around Times Square, save it, come to the health club, enter a really simple PIN, and the map would be wirelessly downloaded to the specific piece of equipment I was on.
Fantastic. And you get a full image and...
As you would on Google Maps on any computer. So you can scroll between Street View, Satellite View, and Map View.
Wow.
It shows where you are exactly on the course. And of course then what happens is the unit itself interacts with the topography of the map. So as I go uphill through Times Square, the resistance on the bike gets harder.
Wow, okay.
So yeah, it's fantastic. And
That's
also,
great.
just might mention that trainers can use that tool as well, of course. Because if you're my trainer and I'm training for the Sydney Half Marathon, you can actually program that course in, and when I come in and work out, I can train sections of the half marathon or potentially the whole half marathon within the safety of the health club.
Right. And how is that data stored and fed back to me?
I'm sorry?
So is there a way of actually extracting that data and actually keeping it and
absolutely,
putting
because
on my profile?
Ifit is a cloud-based portal.
Great.
And you have your individual account, and every single second that you spend on an Ifit compatible piece of exercise equipment is stored wirelessly for you for review at any point in time.
Beautiful. And I can share that with my trainer or Facebook or anywhere else?
Absolutely, through all the social media modems that there is.
Excellent.
Yep.
As we can see on the screen there.
Yep.
Now, obviously, this is the bike that we're actually looking at, and I should remind people this is the bike, even though that on the screen we're seeing portions of the treadmill.
Yep.
But on the treadmill, you can do the same thing. You can run the Boston Marathon, for example.
Without doubt, without doubt. This console is compatible across the entire range of Freemotion cardio, which consists of the upright bike that we're using today, a recumbent cycle, a cross trainer, a treadmill, and of course their famous incline trainer, the treadmill that goes to 30% of vertical and minus 3% decline.
That I had a good look at that at the expo. That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, you've had that for a while now, but it's 30%. That's a workout.
Yeah, look, in the hands of a capable trainer or exercise specialist on a gym floor, that piece of equipment has the opportunity to completely change the user's paradigm of what's capable on a treadmill.
Absolutely, because I guess just to put it into perspective, a standard incline on a commercial treadmill would be about 15%.
0 to 15.
So this then goes up double that.
Correct. Correct. So look, Nathan, some of the other really cool things about this Ifit compatibility are, as you can see, there's a video button here. And what Freemotion and iFitness have done is paid a license fee to National Geographic to access their entire library of videos. So basically, wherever National Geographic has ridden, rode, or walked, Ifit has capacity to access that video and download it to your screen so that you can ride up, for example, the Haleakala crater in Maui, or you can ride the Grand Canyon or the Canyonlands.
Wow.
And it's fantastic because, of course, the videos are incredibly high quality on the display.
Yes. And what an experience that is. I mean, you literally do not have to leave your gym to actually experience any track around the world.
That's right, exactly. The other thing that we can do is enter competitions. So you'll see there's a button here called Compete. Now, Compete is an incredible feature which allows health clubs to, for example, create a competition, an inter-club competition, and we may have a Sydney to Wollongong ride, for example.
Right. Yep.
And they can have the competition run for a day, a week, or a month, and everybody that rides on that competition, their score is stored, and when you enter and you ride, you can see where the fastest person's pace is at the point during the ride. You can see where your pace is,
right,
and you can see where the average rider is.
And that really increases the community side of a gym, doesn't it, really? It just embraces everyone and engages people. And it's pretty exciting, isn't it, especially for gym owners, to know that they can actually create these things.
Right, and of course we're all competitive to greater or lesser degrees. So for example, with this emergence of multi-facility chains where one owner or organization may have multiple clubs, they can run the competition across all of their clubs at exactly the same time.
And each club can compete against each other, or they could have even teams within the club compete.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So I know, for example, that in the States, what a group of clubs did on the West Coast was they simulated the Boston Marathon. And so they did a relay across the Boston Marathon, and they had 11 clubs, and they ran the competition across their 11 clubs on the day of the Boston Marathon, at the time the Boston Marathon was being run.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And so they obviously found that very valuable, and they talked about it, clearly.
Well, sure. I mean, they're fantastic at marketing, so they get the kudos out of that.
Yep.
But really, it's a way of engaging our members at a much deeper, more sophisticated level.
Yep. Great. Okay, so you've got here some other buttons. Tell me a little bit about Train.
Train is a way that I, as, for example, a personal trainer, can store a program for my client. The client can come into the club at whatever time is convenient for them. They can press Train, enter their password, and the program that I've saved for them appears on the screen wirelessly.
Right.
So it's no longer the day where I say to my client, look, Nathan, you're doing cardio, so just jump on the bike and hit quick start, and in 20 minutes come talk to me because I'm at the desk and we'll go do our strength workout. It's really a way of engaging and me knowing exactly what you're doing. Fantastic.
And so does the user actually have the ultimate control over it? So if they feel that as they're going up a hill, the incline's too tough, they can reduce the incline?
Of course, of course. Yeah, we want the control to always be in the user's hands. That information then is, of course, stored on their iFit account for the PT to review later, so they can see what adjustments they made.
Great.
But yeah, obviously, we want the client to be in control at all times.
Absolutely, because I can imagine just going up the Pyrenees, doing one of the Tour de France stages, and
yeah, that's right. That's right.
You might need a bit more of a
we're
rest,
about
maybe.
motivation, not humiliation.
Great. Okay, and you've got Track here.
Track just shows you a bunch of various tracks. So it lists, I think the bike comes stock standard with 2, and then with an iFit subscription, you basically have unlimited capacity. Yep. And it just shows various preset tracks that iFit is created for you. So for example, there's runs through Central Park, there's runs around Niagara Falls, there's runs along Monterey Coast, but they're preset so you don't have to create them.
Right. And is that where you would actually find the National Geographic?
That's some of the National Geographics.
Right.
But the video icon is where it really starts to get interesting.
So Roy, just to, so the people at home can actually understand this, the resistance buttons here on the side and all the buttons at the top here, they all actually work. They're not just lights behind there, and you can use those to, I'm assuming, to touch press the resistance, and you can also up and down your resistance on the side here. And it is app-based, isn't it?
It is. It is app-based. It's all cloud-based. And it's all done wirelessly or wired, as we spoke about before. And the reason we do that touch-sensitive display is it really eliminates the mechanical capacity and requirements of a button. So it tends to be significantly more reliable in that respect.
Fantastic. But the buttons are there, obviously, for us old-school people.
Correct.
And,
yep,
as we like to hold on.
That's right.
Great. So what would you like to go through?
Well, I just thought it'd be interesting to show you a couple of the interesting features that the iFit has. And one of them is that video button that we spoke about before with the National Geographic videos. So if I just press that and I start to ride, what will happen is it will allow me to choose, and we've stored 2 on this bike just for an example's sake. And both of these are in Hawaii, for example. So you have the opportunity to ride either the Haleakala or the Hana, which are 2 volcanoes in Hawaii. You can see, Nathan, it gives you a summary of your ride. So one is about 2.3 kilometers with a maximum incline of 6% of vertical.
Yes.
The other one's just a little bit over 5Ks with a little bit less incline. So let's just, for example, pick Haleakala. So this is now going to give us a little bit of an overview of our run. And the Google Maps kicks in, as you can see, and it tells you a little bit about what we're going to do. If you had headphones, it would give you an audio tour as well.
Right.
It says just plug in the audio tour. So off we go. And we're riding now, based on the gear that I'm in, we're riding up the Haleakala crater. And you can see that it's got a summary of my time and my current watts and my current kilometers. And away we go. So as soon as it starts, we'll crank up. So we know that it's going to be a 9,500 foot vertical climb.
Right.
So here we go. We'll just put the incline up a little bit. There's your gear there.
Yep. And again, if we had have touched 3 on the screen or
exactly
any number,
right. That's exactly right.
Put it up to that.
For sure. Right. I can just go to 5. It goes automatically to 5, and away we go.
And I'd say, Roy, as you're actually on this bike, it's one of the most silent bikes I've ever heard or seen. It's really quite smooth, isn't it?
Yeah, well, most manufacturers these days have moved away from a chain drive bike, so it's all now what we call a poly V-belt. So you're right, it is incredibly smooth. You don't have the sound of the friction that's generated by a chain, and yeah, you can certainly feel it in the pedal motion.
Absolutely, it's really great. So so you're going along here now. If you decide, okay, I don't really want to see what I'm doing, I'd rather watch some television or tune into my iPod. You can do that. Yeah,
of course you can. So you can see there's a little button down here with a note key. If I press that, it enables me to change the display that I'm using.
Great.
And there's a connector down here which is just out of screen, which is for your iPhone or your iPad or pod.
Yep.
And yeah, fully interactive. And the buttons up the top allow us access to an external TV. So for example, if the club has a bank of TVs up the front of the cardio area, we can tap into that using these buttons.
Great.
It's all connected to that. And if I want to get rid of that, I just get rid of that.
Fantastic. And below, I think the visual that I can see on the camera screen is you've got again your resistance buttons. You've got fan controls, so you've actually got a nice little fan below the console, which is always nice and personal to have a little bit of air movement around you.
Well, yeah, look, it is all about the user experience in the health club these days. And, you'll find in the top service health clubs, they're distributing towels, they've got fantastic change rooms. It's really all of the mod cons. So there's no reason not to extend that to the exercise equipment. And that fan works exactly the same way the fan in your car works. It's directional and it's also variable in intensity.
Fantastic. And I've noticed that you have on the Freemotion equipment the Polar sign, so obviously the heart rate monitor does work with Polar. And with the increase of Garmin and other companies, would it work with those monitors as well?
Anything that's Polar compatible. So Garmin is Polar compatible.
Right.
There's only a few sort of obscure brands that aren't Polar compatible. So any of those chest straps will interact with the Ifit capable cardio equipment. And that empowers users to do two things. One, to simply monitor their heart rate. So if I had a Polar heart rate chest strap up here in this window, my heart rate would be displayed.
Right.
But in a more sophisticated way, Nathan, what a trainer can do, or I can do as a member, is I can actually control my heart rate on the bike. So we can do that in two ways. Either just a simple, constant, steady state target, so I can enter in a target heart rate, and the bike will adjust the resistance to keep me at that target.
Okay.
Or, for example, we can do an interval training program where I set a low and a high target, and the bike bounces me back and forth between those two goals over the duration of my program.
Fantastic. And that is completely under the control of either the trainer or the user themselves?
Correct.
Great. Excellent. And would you find that under the set goal?
That's exactly right.
Right.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Excellent.
So yeah, we're trying to make it quite intuitive, but at the same time entertaining, because the more we can get our clients' brains involved with their exercise, the more effective each session becomes. But we also know that there's very, very firm statistics which show that the more we can entertain people and get their brains involved with their exercise, the longer they stay a member of the club. So there's a direct relationship between that and retention.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess when you install a system like this with the tablet-based screens, that you are showing the members that you're investing in technology in the future, and the way we actually interact right now on smartphones and tablets is kind of nearly a standard, isn't it? So it's why not for the fitness equipment?
Yeah, I think the consumer is certainly becoming more sophisticated, and their expectations are growing. And I think we need to grow to meet those expectations. One of the other interesting things for us and the health clubs is that once we become tablet-based, we really can change the bike entirely by downloading new software. So for example, 10 or 12 years ago, when a bike became obsolete, we would trade it out and put in a new bike. Now really, we can keep the same bike because the mechanics are going to work for years and years and years, but download new software and completely change the interface.
Absolutely. Now that was one of the things that kind of really punched me in the face on the trade show, is actually going around and actually talking to a lot of the suppliers with these consoles. Does it run the risk of actually extending the life too far? In terms of, I mean, it's good news for the gym owner, but how about the actual companies themselves?
So it's not like we're going to buy one bike and it's going to last us 25 years and
no, that's right. So it'll end up being a service model, as sales will always be there, but a service model will come into the industry. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Great. And that's more than understandable, really. I mean, you've got this brilliant piece of technology now and an exercise.
Did you see that guy I just dusted on the road? I'm incredibly fit.
You're doing great. And I guess that really that is the next phase. It's evolving times for the industry, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And the more we can engage the members, then the better off the industry will be and the stronger the industry will be as a whole.
Absolutely. Gee, you're doing well.
Thanks, Nathan.
And the whole time, by the way, Roy is pedaling away on the bike and talking, so he's a fit man.
Yeah, and dressed in a suit.
Dressed in a suit. That's great. Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks,
well,
Nathan.
Thank you, Roy. And that's Nate from Fitness Equipment Cafe, here with Roy, the director of HF Industries, and talking about the Freemotion console. Now, keep in mind, this was on the bike, but it can easily be transferred and talked about on treadmills, ellipticals, everything that Freemotion really do.
You got it. Thanks, Nathan. Really appreciate the opportunity.